Let me introduce our first speaker, Darren Scott, who is the Director of Network Planning for United Airlines. He's been with them for 13 years and 9 months, right? Correct? Graduate of Cornell University and got his master's from Northwestern? Yes. Darren, take the stage.
Thank you, everyone. It's great to see you all today, and I'm really excited to talk to you about what United's been up to across the world. So let's kick it off. So pre-COVID, you can see we had a broad international network of over 400 daily international flights and 300 destinations. So something very exciting that offered broad customer choice. And then the pandemic happened, where our international network was reduced to 10 daily flights, providing critical air links across the world. We were the only airline for a time flying between the US and Israel and the US and Australia. But certainly this is a skeleton of what our network was. And now, our international network is back to 92% of historic capacity. But you can see it looks a little bit different to what you saw on the first slide. All the purple lines represent new routes that we've added since the pandemic that have leveraged strength in leisure demand in Europe, the Middle East, and Africa, as well as in Central America. So the network looks a little bit different, but we're close to where we were before. But I'll drill in a little bit more at the regional level next. So this graph here shows industry demand by region and how it compares versus 2019. So you can see when the pandemic hit, demand fell off a cliff. But the recovery in Latin America and on the domestic network has been a lot quicker, and both regions are basically back to historical levels. Across the Atlantic, which is what I'm responsible for, we've seen a rebound recently. We're 14% below historic levels, but a really nice recovery. In the Pacific, the recovery has been slower, but has started to accelerate as countries like Singapore, South Korea, and Australia have reopened. So certainly we're heading in the right direction. In the next slide, we've added a blue line to show United's capacity and how it maps with demand. So in general, we've been bringing back seats to the market as customers have returned, and are really committed to offering the right level of service to meet our customer needs. And it is exciting to see things in most of the world getting back to normal. And I'm very hopeful that by next year, the Pacific will look a lot like the other regions. Switching to our domestic network, this heat map shows our seats versus 2019 by destination. And you can see that there's a lot of green in Florida and the Rocky Mountain states where demand has been very strong recently. And then in the coastal business markets that have been slower to recover, we have fewer seats than in 2019. But as business demand recovers, the seats will come back in, and we'll have competitive schedules to meet our customer needs. Then switching to the Atlantic, really excited about the investment we've been making in London Heathrow. We're going to be up to 22 daily flights to London starting May 28, which is the largest we've been in London. This is going to include new service from Boston that launched last month, additional frequency in Denver and San Francisco, and then in New York, we'll be up to 7 daily flights in Newark, London. And on the right, I have the schedule that we're offering in the Newark, London market, and you can see that we basically offer an hourly shuttle-like schedule in the evening, and then broad time of day coverage out of London. And also in London, we have invested in the Newark, London market in our premium 767-300, which is a customer favorite. This aircraft has 46 lie-flat, all-aisle access business class seats, in addition to the Premium Plus cabin. And this addresses feedback from our customers that we didn't have enough premium seats in this market to meet demand. So we want to continue investing and having a great product for our customers. And then our transatlantic expansion is about more than just London. This is our biggest transatlantic expansion ever this summer. And we're going to be 25% larger across the Atlantic this summer versus where we were in 2019. And this includes 10 new routes that we're launching this summer. Last night was our inaugural flight from Washington Dulles to Amman, which is the only service from a US carrier into Jordan, and the first ever flight from Washington, D.C. to Amman. So really excited about that add to our network. We've also curated a number of other destinations for leisure travel this summer. So new service to the Azores, new service to Nice, the gateway to the French Riviera, Bergen in Spain, Tenerife and the Canary Islands. Lots of great choices for our customers this summer, where our travel advisors play a key role in building awareness of these new destinations. We're going to have more transatlantic service than any other carrier this summer, and we also are going to serve more destinations across the Atlantic than all other US carriers combined. So we can flip to the next slide and talking about Latin America. We have a leading position in Central America and Mexico. I'm really driven by the strength of our hub in Houston and the ability to connect traffic. But it's been really exciting over the last year or two as we've added service into Central America from Washington, D.C. and from Los Angeles to serve these very large markets on the coasts and really serve the market a lot better. And then in the Caribbean, we've been building up our service in Washington, D.C. to provide more options to connecting passengers. And in South America, we've restored service to every destination we served prior to the pandemic. So we're in a really good spot in Latin America, which was one of the quickest regions to recover. And then moving to the Pacific, where the recovery's been slower, we maintain our leadership position versus the other US flag carriers, serving more destinations and more seats. And really excited about our service to Australia. As Australia has reopened, demand is recovering, and we'll be building our network in June with the addition of service from San Francisco to Melbourne, so a second destination in Australia. So looking ahead to our path forward, now that I've told you about all the exciting things happening in our network today, is our United Next plan, which ties to an order of 270 aircraft that we announced last year. And this is really going to allow us to leverage the strength and demand across the United hubs and offer our customers a much better product. So our new narrow-body aircraft that we'll be ordering are going to be larger aircraft that are going to provide a much more comfortable travel experience for our customers. So we're going to have larger overhead bins, so we're not gate checking our bags. We're going to have in-seat entertainment, so we can watch our favorite TV shows. We'll have better Wi-Fi. And then just talking a little bit about our commitment to sustainability. We've committed to reducing our emissions by 100% by 2050, but these new aircraft are newer technology, larger aircraft, much more fuel efficient than the smaller aircraft that they're replacing. So taking some steps in the right direction there. Then if we can flip to the next slide. These larger aircraft are also going to allow us to offer more first class and economy plus seating for our customers. Not only to buy up into a better experience, but also for our elite members to leverage for upgrade benefits and have a more comfortable flight. And just as a preview of what this looks like, in New York, we've removed all single cabin regional jets, and every flight from the New York airports, has a first class cabin. So the investment in product will continue to offer our customer the best possible product. And then talking about our international network, we have our Polaris lounges, which are exclusive to our long-haul premium cabin customers. And these lounges are a real game changer because they're a dedicated lounge for this cabin that has amenities such as pre-flight dining, so you can have a restaurant-style meal prior to getting on your flight, as well as really comfortable seating in different types of settings depending on what you're looking for, as well as signature cocktails and other nice amenities. These lounges are in 6 of our hubs and most recently opened in Washington Dulles, so I highly encourage you to check out the Polaris lounges. And then we also have our Premium Plus cabin that is on the majority of our long-haul flights and will be rolled out on all of our wide-body aircraft by next summer. And the Premium Plus cabin offers an elevated experience at a more accessible buy-up than the business class cabin. So more space, more comfort at a more accessible price point. So overall, we are really focused on investing in improving the customer experience and offering the leading route network for our customers so that they choose to fly United and get excited about flying United. And just want to acknowledge all the support from the advisor community in showcasing what United has to offer to our customers, and also for all the feedback that comes into the network team on how we can make our network better and more relevant. So I really appreciate talking to you all and really excited about what the future holds for United.
Darren, thank you very much. I know we were going to allow for the audience to ask some questions. So Zorian, I believe, will have a microphone for anybody that has a question. For Darren or Kathy, I know will be available to answer questions as well. Any questions? Yes, over here. Zorian Ricks is our new business development manager in the New York area, also covering California as well, because they're right next to each other.
Are you still seeing a significant strain with employment, bringing people back to work?
Yes, I would say that, I mean, the labor market remains tight and challenging. There's been a lot of focus on making sure we're appropriately staffed to cover the schedule that we have. And there's been a lot of focus on non-traditional ways of recruiting to make sure we have the right people. So I would say generally there's a lot of benefits to working for a successful company like United, which we've really tried to get that message out there to bring in people and make sure that we can operate reliably and we don't have any unforeseen issues.
Another question over here, Zorian? All the way over the other side of the room. Yeah, that's New York. This is California over here. If you could stand up when you ask the question, please, also. Thanks.
Thank you so much. So, Darren, thank you. But kind of in that same vein, are you rethinking, or is the airline potentially rethinking refunds and exchanges in the event that our travelers are delayed or their flights have been canceled, not because of weather, but because of staffing issues?
Yeah.
On the side of the airline.
Yeah. Short answer, yes. Further, we can discuss later, since we've got some other of our friends here. We don't want to cause any issues while we're discussing. But short answer is yes, there are creative ways that we work through staffing issues. Currently, we don't have too many of those, thankfully, as Darren mentioned, at the airports, but there are ways to work this out. And we have fabulous partners in the agency community that have ways to work through it.
Any other questions? We could get Zorian to cover Hawaii if somebody back here could answer. Yeah. Great. So to United Airlines, to Darren, and to Kathy, thank you very much.
Thank you.